That was a good
Yep, yep.
conversation as well.
Brad Culpepper was really good talking
Yeah,
about his
yeah.
life and his stories. Spencer's here, just sitting in the green room, not producing or anything, just hanging out. He mentioned
Just
the Shane Edge interview. That one was a really good one. He's the punter that ran the fake, and he described everything down to the T there. So, Nick, we're sorry that you weren't here for that interview.
Covered his son. His son, Brock Edge, played baseball at Florida.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, we did like just events wise. So we did the Trap Music Museum before
Yeah.
Roll Up or Flow Factory. Anybody did Trap Music Museum. Me, Dan pulled up in Atlanta, hung out. We had a watching party as well in Atlanta.
Yeah.
I think Nick, you pulled up, and that's when
Yeah,
we started
dude.
having a conversation
We
about
had
Nick joining the show.
4 events.
That was
That
in
was
Atlanta.
incredible.
Yeah.
Atlanta.
So,
Yeah.
so we did something in Buckhead on Friday night, which was awesome. There was probably 200, 250 people. Not
It was a
everybody was
vibe.
there just because we were there, but a lot of people were.
I'm gonna say everybody was.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about it. Let's get Jacquez on the show and chat with him a little bit.
Five.
Man, a
Hey,
Gator-
real quick,
Gator goat.
before we get started. My very first interview, right, for anybody in podcasting, bro, was Jacquez Green, and I'll forever be grateful for this brother. I had no idea what I was doing. We had terrible audio. We was on SoundCloud. I hit Quez up on Twitter. He was like, "Yeah, man, I'll pull up." My very first interview ever was Jacquez Green, one of my favorite Gators. So I appreciate you, brother, for that.
Appreciate you, man. I believed in what you was trying to, get going as far as this podcast stuff, and I'm always willing to help people out if they need some help. Just give me a time and a place, and hopefully we can work things out.
Corey was a SoundCloud rapper starting a podcast and got 5 on.
Yeah, I remember when Jacquez followed me on Twitter. I was but a young buck. I don't know. This is probably 11, 12 years ago. Probably 11 years ago. I lived in Tampa and I was on Twitter and it's like Jacquez Green following. I'm like, that's my GOAT, because when I was 8 is when you guys won that national championship against FSU, man. And I give my parents a lot of credit for letting me stay up on a school night to watch that. But between you, Ike, and Riedel, and now I get the chance to talk and text with you. Riedel Anthony's a good buddy of mine now too. So the idea of that to 8-year-old me is nuts. So, man, I appreciate your love for the Gators and you support this show, man.
Yeah, I support, man, the show, the Gators, myself, Ike, and Riedel. Actually, my whole class of 94, we on a constant group chat all the time talking about football. Everybody discuss what's going on with the program, the game decisions, coaching decisions, everything. So everybody's all into the game. So to this day.
Ooh, I know that chat lit.
It is.
You got to get in.
Check, gotta be. That's
good
content.
I won't even participate. Just throw me in. It's just another name.
So what do you think about? I won't get to the entire team in a little bit, but what do you think about the wide receiver corps? I think we got some guys in that room right now.
I think we got some guys that can play. We got some depth also. We got multiple guys I think can play. It's just a matter of getting the guys the football in the right spaces, in the right places. I think Eugene Wilson, he'll be more effective if they can, get him vertical a lot more instead of just short dink doink passes and throwing the ball to him left and right. I think he'll create even more space if the defense know he can get vertical as well as throwing them horizontal routes throughout the game. I think he is the best receiver on the team as of right now. But that was last season, and each season you have to prove yourself as the receiver. You can't rest on what you did the year before because every season is different. Every team is different.
That's something he said. I think he saw Ricky Pearsall play a little bit outside his senior year and then go specifically to Mobile and play outside because you'd already got all this tape of him being in the slot and shifty and all that. And I think that's something that because of the additions of Chim Dike and Elijah Badger and you got Khalil Jackson that, hey, you're going to be able to move Eugene around, play him at the X, not just playing him in the slot. And I think that is something he wants to show.
You never want to get pigeonholed as just a slot receiver or just an outside receiver. Because most receivers that are pretty good have to get moved around the formation, especially if you want to get the guys to football. You got to move them outside. You got to motion them inside. You got to start them in the slot, motion them outside. So you have to get creative to get great players to football.
Got to find the mismatches, huh?
Yeah, find the duck on the defense and try to get him lined up against him and go at him.
quickly could you identify the duck on the defense when you were out there?
Yeah, everybody knows the duck. You do sky reports. You do sky reports. In college football, you watch the film, and the coaches know who the weak link of the defense. Or the guy that's been struggling in coverage, last couple of weeks prior to your game. That's the guy you want to go at also. In the upper levels, in the pro levels, they identify the guy based on sky reports. Who has been giving up the most catches? Who's been giving up the most catches? It's not always about the person's name. It's about what he's been doing in the game. It could be your turn to play him, and he's been giving up 8 or 9 catches a game, or he's been giving up a higher percentage of completions in the game, even though he's supposed to be a big time All-American or what have you. So that's the guy you want to go at.
They say if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it must be a duck. When do you let the duck know that you've identified him as the duck?
You have to attack him early on. You have to have plays in the playbook to attack that particular cornerback. Some short things, some deep things, some double moves to especially for a guy real aggressive. He like to jump underneath routes. I've also seen the time when you try to go at the duck and this guy have a big time football game. One time I was in Tampa. We prepared to go against a certain cornerback, and he ended up with 3 interceptions in the game because we thought he was old and couldn't play anymore.
What do you
go ahead?
What do you think about the offense in general? I know you're saying we dink and dunk a little bit to get Trey the ball. I know we want to go vertical. Do you think it's from a play calling and design or a decision making by the quarterback?
I thought last year that we couldn't hold up long offensively up front, so we couldn't really push the ball down the field as much because you need time to be able to push the ball down the field. So I thought we did a good job of getting the ball out of our quarterback's hand and trying to get the ball into playmaker's hand in space and let them run with the football. You can only do as much as your scheme or your personnel allows you to do. You're not Alabama where you can play action the ball or Texas where you can play action the ball and hold it and run deep vertical routes throughout the ball game.
Quez, I want to go back to your time at UF because I don't know if we really talked much about it with you. We've talked about it with Riedel and everything else, but what was it like? I mean, you guys had such a talented team. You guys had 3 wide receivers that played in the NFL. What was it like? I know that they're your brothers, but also, in football, there's competition for the ball and you want the ball and you want to make plays. What was it like to be surrounded by such great talent on that team? Because you just don't see that very often, especially now, but, even back then where you had, a starting running back in the NFL, 3 starting wide receivers in the NFL, a former starting quarterback in the NFL. What was that like in practice and then just on the sidelines?
Well, we didn't really think about it, during the time we were playing football. No, we were not like super 5-star recruits. No, we were all good high school football players, and we all were very competitive guys, but we didn't think of it like that. We didn't have all that, crazy expectations when we arrived in Gainesville. We did sign 6 receivers in our recruiting class. We knew we had 3 or 4 receivers graduating. I think it was it was Harrison Houston, Willie Jackson, and one more receivers graduating. So we had to replace a lot of production from the year before. But we were very competitive. We always wanted to outdo each other. That was the main thing. We were very competitive. We want to always outdo each other. And we were very competitive in practice. We start one-on-ones. The first rep, it'll be Riedel will hop up there, and it'll be Fred Weary. And the second rep will probably be me and Shay Showers. The third rep will be Ike and Elijah Williams. And it was like that each and every day. They hop up, they're like, let's go. We hop up like, let's go. So it was always competitive. And you always knew, like, if you didn't do your best, that somebody could beat you out. Somebody could take your reps, or somebody could take your opportunities to catch the football, which was another thing that made you come with your A game each and every day. And also, we the things that we practice in practice, we knew we'd run them in the game. You got some schools that practice vertical routes and practice all these different plays and never call them. So in Spurrier's system, we knew if we did something, if we ran something in practice, we was going to get in the game. And the person who got in the game was usually the person who ran the route the best in practice. And we always knew that. If you do a good job in practice with the route and run it the right way the coaches want you to run it, you will get that play in the game. And it probably was a touchdown. And we were unselfish. We always cared about each other and who was doing well. And if Ike had 2 touchdowns or if Ike had a touchdown and Riedel had a touchdown, we called a play. You can see on film sometimes we'll switch around and give somebody else that route just so we can get him a touchdown. And so we'll all be, if we all get touchdowns that game. We were never selfish. That's another thing that helped us out. No, we wasn't selfish. We cared about each other doing well, and we're real close friends to this day. And that was throughout our entire offense. We never had a bell cow running back. We always had a running back by committee, so each guy knew they had to do the job. We always had 4 or 5 receivers that we spread the football around to. So we were unselfish. We cared about each other, and we always just wanted to win.
I was listening to, I was talking with Danny Warfel and Graham Mertz. They were talking, and Danny was asking him, Graham, about kind of the offense. And Graham's telling him about like how his progressions go. And Danny goes, "Oh, our progression started with the deepest route, and then we worked back down." Did you ever have a drag route and you were like, "I know Danny's not even looking at me. I'm Danny's 4th option here"?
Well, we knew, like, when we played, we was most of the time we do a lot of stuff that people do now that they think they reinvent the wheel. But we was always in the mother huddle, which we always huddle right there by the football, if you ever noticed. Wide receivers, we rarely got in the huddle. We always stay on the outside because we knew the signals. Once Spurrier was signaling to play, we can look over there and see the signals ourselves. We were smart guys. Ike real smart. Riddell's real smart. I knew what was going on out there. And so, and most of our plays were we trying to attack you vertical. So the first choice would be deep to intermediate to check down. So we had a few plays where we were throwing underneath, but most of the time we always had a vertical and a short concept to our pass game.
Yeah, Graham kind of looked at Danny like, "What do you mean your first read is that 4?"
Yeah, if you're getting a certain coverage, we try and throw the ball over the top.
Yeah,
and it was in the experience more like if the safety sits flat-footed and doesn't get depth, let it go. And our job was to be back there and take the top off the defense and create explosive plays.
Do you you're a Georgia guy? Do your Georgia peoples give you a hard time about they run right now?
Not really. They talk more now, but they never had a chance to talk. And I've been living 48 years. They never had a chance to talk for the last 4 or 5. So they've been terrible throughout my lifetime, or average. I'm not gonna say terrible. They've been average throughout my lifetime. And I grew up watching the Vince Dooley show, regularly every Saturday morning when I was growing up. But it's their time right now. They just better take advantage of it and enjoy it, because it'll be somebody else's turn in 2 or 3 years. That's just how college football goes. It goes in cycles. So when it's your turn, enjoy it. Get the most of it, because something gonna happen eventually where it's gonna go to another college football team turn.
Yeah, as long as they don't get no Uber, we'll be all right, man. They keep driving. It'll eventually come to an end.
What led you to Florida? Because recruiting now, talking to some coaches, they're like, the relationships don't even matter. It's just how many commas are in the NIL deal. What was recruiting like back then? And what was the head ball coach like recruiting? Because I know he we used to have golf season more than recruiting season for coach.
He can get him in there though. He was always in the living room to seal the deal though. That's one thing about Coach Spurrier. He let the other guys do the recruiting, but once it was time to seal the deal, Spurrier make the visit, and that usually did it for a lot of guys back then. But back in those days, I was a high school quarterback, but you can look at a person's athleticism and see what he can play in college. Everybody recruited me as a wide receiver or a cornerback. I didn't want to play defense. That kind of counseled out a lot of schools. Like Georgia wanted me to play corner. Auburn wanted me to play corner. And so it kind of narrowed down to Mississippi State, I think it was. I think Maryland was running the run and shoot at the time, not like when they was throwing the ball around Jermaine Lewis and G. Simon, and Maryland was throwing it all around the park everywhere. And Alabama was I took a visit to Bama and I took a visit to Florida. And the thing about it was I figured I could play at Florida without being a starter. As Alabama was more of a traditional 21 personnel team. So they only had 2 wide receivers in the field at the time. I knew at Florida, if I didn't start, I still could be the 3rd receiver or 4th receiver and still get some playing time throughout the season. So that's pretty much what sold me on Florida. We wasn't as arrogant as the kids now. We really know how good we were, and we just wanted the opportunity to play football. Now the kids, they super entitled now, and they think they should do this and do that and do that. Back then, we just wanted the opportunity. I know I did, and a lot of guys I went to college with did. We just wanted the opportunity to prove people that we can play and give us a chance, and we'll go from there.
Quez, I want to ask you, with that in mind, about recruiting and everything else. You're the head coach at Manatee High School down in the Sarasota area, if you're not familiar with the area. What do you talk to your kids that are being recruited now about, the opportunities that they're going to have from an NIL perspective, talking to these collectives, ultimately the opportunity to play at that next level? When players come to you or when coaches are coming to you, what's your message to them?
Well, as far as the NIL, it's like, it's for a particular player. If you're good enough for somebody to offer you money, that's you. Congratulate you. But I don't even talk about that. I talk about more so about where do you want to go? Where do you think you fit? Now, I let them know over the years. I've always let my guys know like who the defense coordinator is, what kind of defense they run, the guys he's coached, who the offense coordinator is, what kind of offense they run, what kind of receivers that play in his system. So you get an idea, because these kids today, they don't know nothing about no colleges. Only thing they know about is maybe like Alabama and maybe Georgia. Other than that, they don't know anything about any colleges. So I try to let them know about what's the college and who's played there and what kind of coach he is and who he's coached and stuff like that. Give them some background on the college and the team and the scheme. And because if you want a college degree, you're going to get a college degree. It doesn't matter what college you go to. If you're really into your academics and what have you, you're going to get a college degree. And I tell the guys in Bradenton right now, make sure you don't come home without a degree. Football, you can only play that so long. Make sure you get a degree, because once you get a degree, you can come home and you can do whatever you want to do. And I encourage them not to come home. Like, go visit the school, go away from college, enjoy. Go around the world until you start having a family and kids and what have you. I always encourage them to enjoy the world, travel, get away from Bradenton and go see some other things in the world.
What's more important, the scheme, whether you're offense, defense, what you're going to be asked as a player, or can you see yourself living in that place for 3 to 5 years?
Well, it goes by so fast, and I tell them that. I say it's going to be like high school, man. You remember yesterday you came here, you was a freshman. Now you graduate. College is going to be the same way, man. Once you get there after 2 or 3 years, it's going to be time to graduate. So just thinking of it as high school. And they always be like, yeah, coach, you're right, man, because high school is going by fast. I'm already a senior already. So that's the main thing. And the next thing is probably the fit. Where do you fit? Do they want you? Don't go to a place where you're just another player. Go to a place where they want you. You hire them, they board. They got big play. Because if you hire on a team's board, they're going to give you multiple opportunities to make mistakes. If you're not high on their board, if you're not high on their board, they're going to, you make a mistake, they're going to go on to the next guy you're recruiting or what have you. But they don't want to look bad. So if you hire on their board, they're going to give you opportunities to make, numerous mistakes, like I said earlier. So go to a place where they like you at, where they interested in you, the team that talks to you a lot during recruiting, the teams that check in with you a lot during recruiting. And you have to do the same thing. You have to show those schools that you're interested in them. Call the coach and let them know you watch them on Saturday. And text the coach, let them know that you're interested in going to their school.
What is coaching for you like? Is there anything that you got from Spurrier that's carrying over to you being the head coach now?
I think I got a little bit piece from Coach Spurrier. Overall, I think I got some things from as far as X's and O's from when I played in Tampa with Gruden. I think I got from Coach Dungy was how to handle people. How to handle people, how to handle how you treat people like people, and how you handle other coaches. You don't have to do weird stuff like other coaches because that's the way it's always been done. At the end of the day, you have to understand that they are people, and they want to be treated as people. Spurrier, I probably get my competitiveness from Spurrier and the fact that I want to crush everybody in our area right now. Everybody in this Sarasota, Bradenton area. Like I don't care about any of them. I want to beat them all. So I think I get that part from Spurrier. And just offensively, I think I get a lot of stuff from Gruden. I learned the West Coast offense from John Gruden, and I already learned some of it when I played in Detroit with Marty Morningwig. It's a terrific offense. I think you can run to every level of football, and as you can see right now, every team who has success in the NFL has come from that coaching tree. From Andy Reid to the Mike McDonald to the Shanahans to the McVays, all of them have West Coast offense backgrounds, and those guys right here are doing more like what I call West Coast offense on steroids. They're the young guys that are really inventing the wheel on what the West Coast offense should be.
Not a visor guy though.
Got to be a visor guy. I got to show you hair. Man. I got decent hair, so I have to show my hair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have to show my hair. This
Jealous.
is the hat right here. The hat just when it been raining down here. You know, it been storming down here, so the hat went outside. But visor guy. I heard you go ball. You wear visor too much. So I think I heard that. So
That's what happened to me, man.
yeah, I'm a visor guy. I just wearing a hat right now, representing the F.
Already. Hey, congratulations on the PhD as well, man. You was talking about the education, but it's Dr. Jacquez Green right now as well, man. So congrats.
Appreciate it, man.
Well, Jacquez, man, we appreciate you coming on, man. You, like I said, I think you're one of our favorite Gator players of all time, each of us. So it's always good to chat it up with you, and I appreciate what you do for the timeline. You always add some good jokes. You add some knowledge. You ask questions. You challenge people. So I always look forward to seeing you there, man. And
real quick, before we let him go, we haven't asked him about the opener.
You got to ask him the opener question.
Florida, Miami. We got a score prediction from Ahmad. What does Florida need to do, and how important is it to win a rivalry game like Miami to open the season?
It's important because all the casuals will get on the timeline and cry the whole day if we lose. But at the same time, I think at the end of the year, we won't even remember that game as much because it'll be so far away, and those teams will be totally different by the end of the year. But you want to beat those guys. You know, one reason you want to beat those guys is because of recruiting. You know, you recruit the same players, so you want to be able to get those guys that you're recruiting. And the easiest way to get a player is to say that we beat them. That's how young kids think. As opposed to when we was here, we was like, okay, we want to play on the team that lost, so we can beat you this time. So I think we'll beat them. I think it'll be like a 30-34-21 game. I think the home field atmosphere that night, the first game of the year, going to be rocking. And I think we'll be a way better team than people give us credit for. I think we'll be a way better football team this year than we've been in the past.
Quez, how often do you make it up to Gainesville?
I go up to the coaching clinics. No, I go up to the coaching clinics each year. When I go up there, I'm usually going up there for football. You know, not too much. You know, hanging out, having fun. It's usually go up there for football. I can talk to the coaches and learn some more football.
Love it, man. Well, Jacquez, we appreciate you coming on today, my friend, and we'll chat with you again soon. But keep doing what you're doing. Congratulations on everything that you've done, and good luck to the Manatee Hurricanes this offseason or this upcoming season.
Appreciate you guys for having me on, man. Go Gators.
We appreciate you
coming. I need to get Jacquez as Mr. Two Bits. I don't think he's done it yet.
A member of the